Good evening, this is Enid Lapellis. It's November 9th, 2020, and the time is 8 p.m. As is customary, before the start of our meetings, would you all please join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Please allow me to confirm the presence of those town council members and any other staff or anticipated participants that are present. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Dee Dee Martin.
Dee Martin here.
Jennifer Aguilar.
Jennifer Aguilar here.
Jason Mauer.
Jason Mauer present.
I know that Terry Rooney is absent. Jonathan Formicella.
Jonathan Formicella present.
Tony Scott.
Tony Scott here.
Sean O'Rourke.
Present.
Kevin Reed is absent, but will be with us for the action items. And
I'm here, Madam Chair. I will be here for the whole meeting.
I know. Okay, I know you're here, but you're going to do it as a phone call. Thank you. And I'm here, Enid Lapellis. Okay, so voting will be, I guess, 7-0. Okay.
8-0, Madam Chair.
Right, because the absent is really Kevin, but he's not absent. Okay, going on. This public meeting is being conducted as a hybrid meeting as follows. Town council members, designated staff, invited presenters, and members of the press may attend in person or remotely. Public access to this meeting will be limited to joining the meeting. A limited number of in-person public attendees will be permitted based upon the reduced capacity of the meeting room pursuant to the governor's executive orders. Any member of the public wishing to attend in person must email meetings@monroect.org at least 24 hours in advance, to be notified as to whether or not space is available. All members of the public may attend remotely in compliance with Section 1 of Governor Lamont's Executive Order Number 7B, dated March 14, 2020, using GoToMeeting electronic conferencing technology. Using this technology, the public shall participate in real time in this meeting via computer, tablet, smartphone, or telephone using the access information set forth on the meeting agenda. Please be advised that each meeting has unique participation information, so please be sure that you have access to correct meeting. Notice is hereby given that only 250 participants may access this remote electronic public meeting at any one time. Access to this meeting, this technology is granted solely by the technology provider on a first access basis and is not controlled by the town of Monroe. Well, as anticipated, I will not exceed this participation limit for this meeting. Should it appear that we are approaching said limit so that any member of the public is denied access to the meeting, I, as chairman, reserve the right to adjourn and continue the meeting at a later date using technology appropriate to ensure all members of the public may participate. Please take notice of the following regarding this remote electronic public meeting. 1, that this meeting is being conducted in real time. 2, that this meeting is open to the public. 3, that any member of the public may listen or view to this meeting anonymously. 4, that this meeting is being recorded, and while we ask that you mute your microphone unless recognized to speak, that anything you say or do or is displayed on your screen may become part of the recording. 5, that the recording shall be posted to the town's website within 7 days. 6, that the recording shall be made available to the public within a reasonable time in town hall or upon written request. As set forth in the agenda, this meeting will feature and permit public participation. Any written comments from the public regarding any business which would otherwise be germane to public participation and received between the dates the agenda was posted 1 hour before the start of the meeting will be read into the to the record during the public participation portion of this meeting. Meeting ground rules. Let's see, please permit me to cover some ground rules to ensure the meeting runs smoothly. Comments are audible and an accurate record is anticipated. This meeting shall follow standard parliamentary procedure. However, I ask all participants to follow special rules in addition. Please mute your microphones or so as to reduce background noise at all times when you're not speaking. Prior to speaking on each occasion, you must clearly state your name for the record. The use of chat features is prohibited and will not be considered during the meeting at any time. Going on, consent calendar. Are there any objections to me passing the consent calendar as presented?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
No objection, but just as a note, we did pass Resolution 20-110 through LNA unanimously. It's the click it or ticket that we see every year, which is why it was put to the consent calendar, as nothing has changed from previous.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair, I'd like to add one additional note. Again, I don't think we need to amend it, but it does say both on the voting record and on the meeting minutes that we're via phone. When it says present, is it via phone? We were here last meeting, so I just wanted to call that out just for the record. But I don't know if it needs to be amended or anything.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so the consent comes passed as presented. Communications, hereby ask that communications item A through J be referenced in the minutes of the meeting. Great, Jake. Okay, any public participation? Anybody?
Anyone is attending remotely, please remember to unmute yourself before attempting to indicate your desire to speak.
Okay, I don't see any. Do you hear anybody? Are you set, Mr. Kellogg? See, you don't see anyone. Okay. There are no appointments tonight. On to action items. C, Town Council Committee on Legislative and Administrative Matters. Mr. Kellogg, no, Mr. Reed. Rachel.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We will be addressing all of the items that we discussed in LNA tonight in new business.
Okay, thank you. Mrs. Martin, Public Park and Recreation.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chairman. I don't have anything on the other committees, but I did attend the Park and Rec meeting on Monday, and they had a couple of interesting things going on. There was a Girl Scout troop that had come to the meeting, and they want to put scoreboards on all the fields. My understanding is they're not the great big scoreboards, but something that perhaps whiteboard, something like that. That's to be worked out so that soccer, some of the smaller baseball fields, that kind of thing, could have a score thing if they wanted. They also wanted to build some bocce courts and a cornhole, and what was the other one? Oh, this, yeah, scoreboards, bocce, and a cornhole, which is kind of interesting to put that in part. They had 420 people that voted on the scarecrow thing, which they were pleased about. It was their first year. They will definitely be doing it again. And they're winterizing the park, and they pulled the dock from Lake Siller.
Okay, thank you. Going on to First Selectman's update.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, starting out with our COVID update, about 2 hours ago, the governor's office reported today's positivity rate at 3.7%, bringing the 7-day rolling average to 3.8%, which is about where it's been, a little bit, perhaps a little bit higher than it's been. Last week, the state started including the rapid antigen tests in their case reports. Previously, they had only included the PCR molecular tests. Additionally, over the weekend, the statewide hospitalizations had a jump up about 20%, which is probably the largest jump we've seen in a while. Still reporting that lengths of stay in ICU usage is down amongst those hospitalized, but it is still a noteworthy increase from Friday. I'm sure everyone's aware the entire state has been moved back to this phase 2.1. The governors say the goals are to slow community spread while still striving to keep schools open, protect our healthcare capacity, and minimize the economic impact. I've bulleted some of the highlights of phase 2.1, but there are additional rules that are available through our COVID-19 page. The private social gatherings are limited to 10 people, regardless of indoors or outdoors. Commercial event venues are limited to 25 indoors and 50 outdoors. Restaurant capacity indoor was reduced back to 50%, and they added a new requirement of a maximum table size, which is 8 people per table. They also enacted a new rule requiring that restaurants and other entertainment venues give their last service at 9:30 p.m. so that the dining or entertainment venue itself indoors would be closed by 10 p.m., although it does not prevent takeout, delivery, and curbside. Nail salons, hair salons remain at 75%, and religious gatherings were reduced as well. As of today's report, state's reporting Monroe with 236 confirmed and 20 probable cases. As I mentioned in my update to the community this week, roughly half of the total recent cases, interestingly enough, involve multiple people living in the same household. So that's one of the trends that we are seeing, is that entire households or a substantial portion of the same household all becoming positive. Tragically, we have also lost 2 more residents, elderly residents, to COVID-19. As I indicated last week, Monroe is now among 68 towns and cities that are in the red alert category. The map, as you see below there, is white, orange, and red. As I said in prior reports, it does not take much for a town the size of Monroe to escalate in the categories. It's really the difference between 1, 2, or 3 cases on average per day to make us yellow, orange, or red. We are over 3 now at 3.5 average cases per day in Monroe. I would say that the recent numbers that I've received since last week are consistent with us remaining in the red category this week when the report comes out on Thursday. So as of Monday, we once again limited routine public access to town hall by appointment. Again, servicing through phone, email, and our Dropbox, but our appointment system has been worked very well, and we've been making appointments and servicing people come to town hall. The library does remain open, but we have further reduced the capacity limitations beyond what they were prior to being in phase 2.1. So that is the COVID update. On the other side of the page, a few other updates. In the Human Resources Department, I am pleased to announce that Craig Hirsch has joined us as our permanent full-time director of HR. Craig has over 25 years of experience in human resources, recently working most recently at Macy's, where he's been in a variety of roles, most recently as an HR director and supporting a wide range of operations. He's a Monroe resident of over 10 years. Also brings to the table over 4 years of experience as a former member of our Board of Finance. You'll all know that Mike Brown was here originally on an interim basis to assist during the HR transition. That transition became extended because of COVID-19, but I want to thank him for his contributions. He is finalizing some opportunities in the private sector and with us through just past the middle of this week in helping through the transition. The next update, more good news. Today I was informed of some good news from the state. The state resumed the STEEP grants this year. They have been inactive since 2016. The program was reinstituted, but with a lot of new restrictions. One of them was that the funding for the entire project, including the municipal match, had to be secured at the time that the STEEP grant was applied for. So they're truly looking for shovel-ready projects. The category of eligible projects, however, was also expanded because of COVID-19. But the maximum award, you'll recall this program typically gave grants up to $500,000. The maximum awards was significantly reduced for all municipalities. So based upon all the program changes, what I identified as a viable project was the Public Safety Communications Project, which is underway. You'll recall it was authorized for bonding in the January town meeting. So in August, with help from a lot of departments, we compiled an application and supporting documentation. It was over 75 pages long. We were notified today that we have been granted the maximum award of just over $128,000. And I look forward to presenting a grant agreement to the council as soon as I receive it from the state. Some economic development updates. We launched a new Monroe Businesses email group here, which currently has about 900 email addresses in it to communicate information to our business community. So a recent communication was to disseminate the state's newly announced Connecticut Cares Small Business Grant Program. It provides $5,000 sort of micro grants to eligible small businesses based on some criteria, but we utilize that to disseminate that, and we will continue to utilize that for ongoing information and communication with our business community. Specific business updates that are noteworthy. The Noble Gas and Convenience Center, which you've probably, if you noticed, is well underway, 205 Monroe Turnpike. They're targeting an opening before Thanksgiving. You can see there that it is complete, including the road work, and the traffic lights are in flash operation right now. They'll be going to normal mode probably next week. Monroe Socials expansion with a new dining area and private room is complete. We have a new business opening in Chuck's Corner called Smoker's House, and we have held some ribbon cuttings for Angelo's Specialty Fine Foods and Hair by Doris. Just a quick update on the Pura investigation. This past Friday was the deadline for our submission as testimony as an intervener. This again is regarding the Eversource response to Tropical Storm. We included with our testimony 76 submissions that were received from Monroe residents and some businesses and property owners. And obviously thank Town Attorney Lito for assisting in getting that submitted through the Pura docket. And last but not least, I want to recognize our finance department for the fourth year in a row in being recognized by the Government Financial Officers Association for the annual CAFR. It is the highest recognition in governmental accounting from GFOA. Again, it just confirms the strong work of Ron and Heidi, and I want to thank them. That is my report. Ron, back in the room. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, there is no unfinished business.
Chair,
Yes.
can I ask a question?
Sure.
Mr. Kellogg, in our, last week, a resident emailed all of us about the cell tower.
Yes.
Did you respond to her by any chance?
Oh, I'm sorry, maybe I misunderstood you. There was a what?
Last week we all got an email about the cell tower that was addressed to you, and we were on it as well. Was that addressed her by any?
I have a lot of emails.
I know.
When was this?
I believe it was Thursday.
Okay, it may still be a pending.
And do we have any updates on?
Was this, okay, I do know which one you're referring to. I am in the process of getting a response to her, but it was not sent yet, no. Yeah, I didn't realize the council was copied on that one. I would have let you know earlier. I've been in regular communication with Ms. Northway, so we will certainly get back to her.
Do we have any updates on the cell tower?
No, it's currently, well, one is the aspect of the ground lease is still in Town Attorney Lito's hand with the special counsel that you recently approved. I know that he's getting them some information. The company that is proposing it, ARX Wireless, has provided some of the information that they had said they would. They've revised the balloon test report. They did provide some updates on different locations they looked at. I believe they were finalizing some of the FCC emission report stuff that they submitted. So I again, because it wasn't ripe yet to go to council, I haven't compiled all that for your consideration, but obviously we would at that time.
I also just wanted to put it on the record that in favor I am of everything about the cell tower. Like, my husband is very knowledgeable on all that, and I've actually sent Mr. Kabza a couple articles about the emanations of what they have now and what they will have further away. So I just wanted to show my support of it.
Thank you, appreciate it. Yeah, I have shared with some of the concerned residents that tower that is currently there is far closer than
Right.
this.
It may not be as big, but
Right.
it's
May not appear such, but
wrong.
thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, going on to new business. A, Resolution 20-111, Mr. O'Rourke.
Resolution number 20-111 to consider and act upon a resolution regarding the deposit placement agreement and custodial agreement with Newtown Savings Bank for the certificate of deposit account registry service.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Mauer. Discussion? Mr.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, as you'll see from my cover letter, most of our assets are currently with Newtown Savings Bank in the ICS service, which was brought to you, I think it was either last year or earlier this year. This is a similar product for CDs that our treasurer, Patrick O'Hara, has researched and identified, which provides us more favorable interest rates with CDs. We presented this to the Board of Finance, which was very well received.
I just read the description.
And reviewed by our town attorney.
Jumped ahead.
With that, I know that Mr. O'Hara is on the call. Certainly invite him to.
Okay, any other discussion? Mr. O'Rourke?
Madam Chair, I think that we might have skipped a step. I didn't get to the point where I move that the following resolution be hereby adopted.
You missed that?
Resolution 20-111, resolve that Kenneth M. Kellogg, First Selectman of the Town of Monroe, is authorized to execute and deliver on behalf of the Town of Monroe the CDARS Deposit Placement Agreement, Custodial Agreement, and any other associated documents by and between Newtown Savings Bank for the Certificate of Deposit Account Registry Service.
Okay, so Mr. Mauer already
Second.
seconded this. Do we have any discussion?
Just to let you know, Madam Chair, that this did go through LNA and we passed it up.
Okay. Gallagher, anything else to say?
I don't think I need to repeat my comments. Everyone heard my introduction. Mr. O'Hara, did you want to add anything?
Can everybody hear me?
Absolutely.
Yes.
I would just add that as similar to the ICS arrangement, when we are putting money in the CDs through Newtown Savings Bank into the CDARS program, they will be divvied up in $250,000 increments, so they do have FDIC insurance. And this is actually an opportunity to give us about 100% more than, I think I got that right, what we're getting through the ICS right now, which is at 0.07. So a 6-month CD is going to bring us from 0.07 to 0.16. Under the law, this is pretty much as far as we can go in terms of investing the town's money. So there is no risk, and it is a better return on investment. Any other questions? Let me know.
Thank you, Mr. O'Hara. Two,
Madam Chair,
yes.
I also would just like to add one question that was asked during LNA by myself and answered by our finance director, was whether there were any additional costs or fees associated either with the transfers themselves or with the program. And both of those questions were answered that no, there are no additional fees or costs associated with this, so it would be a pure net gain.
Okay, so we can vote on this motion. All in favor of this motion?
Aye.
And it passes. Anybody against? Thank you, Mr. Reed. It passes 8-0. Going on to resolution 20-112, to consider and act upon a resolution regarding a CADIS US Professional Services Agreement, Hydrogeological Services. Mr. O'Rourke?
Move that the following resolution as described be hereby adopted. Resolution number 20-112, resolve that Kenneth M. Kellogg, First Selectman of the Town of Monroe, is authorized to execute and deliver on behalf of the Town of Monroe the Professional Services Agreement and any associated documents by and between Arcadis US for hydrogeological services.
Okay, do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Formicella, am I correct?
Yes.
Seeing here. Okay, going on to discussion. Mr. Kellogg?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, as I believe you're all aware, there's activity before our Inland Wetlands Commission in the form of an application regarding 64 Cambridge Drive and 4 Independence Drive. The commission, working with the Southwest Conservation District, has determined that they are in need of some subject matter expertise in the form of an independent hydrogeological consulting service. At that direction, staff worked with Southwest Conservation to obtain quotes and proposals from prospective vendors for professional services. The commission reviewed those proposals and has selected Arcadis, and that is why this agreement is before you. I would just like to also add that, consistent with their regulations, the commission has required that the applicant reimburse the town for the cost of those services. Included in your packet, correspondence from the property owner confirming their authorization and agreement in that regard. This was reviewed by the town's special counsel for land use in the context of her supporting the commission at those meetings. Has been further reviewed and negotiated by our town attorney as well. With that, I know there was discussion during LNA in regards to a couple of the sections, and I believe those were resolved. We discuss those further with Mr. Lito if you choose to. Otherwise, I'd ask that we move forward on this, as I know the Wetlands Commission has time is of the essence in regards to their evaluation of this application. So they are certainly in need of this. And I believe Mr. Schultz is on the call as well if you have any questions for the town planner in this regard.
Any other discussion?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
just that this did go through LNA, as mentioned, was passed unanimously forward to the council. As Selectman Kellogg mentioned, there were a couple of points of discussion, questions asked by both Councilman Formicella and myself regarding the one section that was called out by the land use attorney. That section, when discussing with our town attorney, all of our concerns were alleviated based off of basically two things. One, it's a low risk section that only deals with if there is litigation, and two, we are only need to pay any fees if Arcadia is not named in the suit, and in most cases they would already either be named in the suit, or if it was to deal with negligence or anything on their part, we would be naming them and in the suit, so therefore that brings the risk down even lower. Outside of that, I would like to thank our town attorney for the one change that he did negotiate, which greatly protects our indemnity within the agreement. As per those discussions, LNA was completely comfortable moving this forward for approval.
Okay, any other discussion or questions? Mrs. Aguilar?
So the changes, are they in here, the change that you just discussed, Mr. Mauer, are they part of this? Or are you approving what you discussed, the changes, or are we approving?
Madam Chair, if I may, and our town attorney could go into specifically, the one actual change was made before it was even presented to LNA.
Okay.
In section 5.1, the discussion as to what we were comfortable with dealt with section 6.5, and there are no changes to that. We were just comfortable with the language as is after the discussion with our town attorney.
Okay, discussion or anything?
If I may, and just to be specific, the change in 5.1 that the town attorney negotiated was to, the original agreement had their limits of liability capped to the fees paid, which is certainly not nearly the limits of their insurance, which the town attorney was successfully negotiated in, which we appreciate.
Thank you.
Okay, any other discussion? Going on, so we have to vote on this. All in favor of this motion?
Aye.
Passes to 0. Thank you. On to C, acceptance of the following donation that individually exceeds $1,500.
I hereby make a motion to accept The following donation, $2,000 from the Samuelson family for the park bench. In memory of Robert. Al, I hope I pronounced that right.
Yeah, Michael, I think.
Michael? Okay, it looks,
All right, any discussion on this?
Second.
Okay, second. Any discussion? Okay, let's vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 8-0. Thank you. Is anybody for public participation?
On the go-to meeting, anyone on the go-to meeting wishing to participate in second public participation, please unmute yourself and indicate a desire to speak.
Okay, nobody?
Madam Chair.
So I'm adjourning this meeting at 8:31 PM. Thank you.